Dear Capricorns, welcome to your reading. Yes, this is another yearly horoscope for Capricorn. You can watch the other video, which is more in, you could say, more general. This one is going to be, I specifically made this video for the degrees of your sign. So if you are an early Capricorn, what's going on, if you are a bit more in the middle. So it's a bit more in detail here. And I'm looking just at the far away planets, right? Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and so on. Let's start with the biggest one for still some of you. A very small percentage, though, of the Capricorns, specifically those who were born with planets. So I mean the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. If you've got those planets there at 29 degrees of Capricorn, you are going to still have Pluto in your sign. So that's a small percentage, of course, of all the Capricorn. So most of you already, if you say, yeah, what you're saying now, Veerle, see it as a bit of a récapitulé, you know, it's like good to hear what you all done in the past and how you have changed and transformed, because that's what Pluto is all about, how you have become more authentic and real and more soulful, doing things from the soul. There's still that 1%, as I said, that are going to feel this very strongly, right? So 29 degrees, these are the Capricorns that are born at the very end of the sign. So 20th of January, 19th, 20th of January. So this is total transformation, of course. So this is the figuratively the death and the rebirth. So there is for those people still something that has to do with your identity. And actually, it's a bit like this. If you feel that it's a part of you that you don't want to let go of your identity, the best thing that you can do is to surrender. So whether it is a job that you're sticking on to, or whether it's something that you know of, right? Or maybe a relationship. You know, when the sun represents in the female's chart also men. I've seen it many times when Pluto is on the sun, that there is a transformation in a relationship with a male. Whatever it is, surrendering is the best option. If it's something out of your control, of course. And with surrender, I mean, like, you know, if they're going to fire you, they're going to fire you, right? If that man is that you're with is going to cheat, it's hard to say, I know, but like, let him do it. You know, it's a sign for you to level up and to say goodbye. You know, that kind of energy, but it's the most important, it's the most challenging thing to do, of course, because Pluto, the downside of Pluto is control, and it doesn't want to let go the hands of the steering wheel. But as I said, a lot of you Capricorns have gone through these phases and have gone through a point so that you can keep on. And if you say, yeah, I already had this energy and nothing happened, well, you still have Pluto in your sign between the 29th of September up until November time. So those are a couple of months that you can still do your best to transform in that particular way. But Pluto, for most of you, you will feel the shift of Pluto transiting in the second house, which is the house of money, which is the house of your self-esteem. Pluto entering it, and of course it's going to stay there for a long time, but typically with Pluto entering it, it is a wake-up call for many people when it comes to those two matters. So it could mean, depending on what you did before, maybe financially, you didn't take care of your finances and you didn't focus on it, and you knew someday it's going to come, that you have to be, you know, a little bit more cautious there and whatnot. Then Pluto comes into your second house and boom, you know, it's a drastic change. So yes, for some of you, it can mean that there is some sort of a breaking down of a financial structure, but it's not going to break down if it's healthy. You see what I mean? So that a breaking down could be necessary to build, in order for you to build up again. It is, for a lot of you Capricorns, connected with your self-worth. It could be a testing of a breaking down of what you value. I remember when I had Pluto entering the second house, I was saying, can I do still the work that I'm doing? It's connected to your value system. Can I do this? I can't do this anymore. And that is Pluto is always a bit of a crisis. And in the second house, it's about these things. It's about what you identify yourself with, your value system, and where you're getting confidence out. So I was seeing it like, yeah, this job, I can't do this anymore. And when you leave that job, it's a bit like, what's going on? It's the rebirth that you will have to, with the years to come. I say years because Pluto is going to be there for a long time. But of course, it depends on your situation. If you have been already doing these stuff, Pluto entering the second house can mean that you're having power. Pluto is, where it's transiting, it can be potential for your super power. It's like the most powerful thing. So you can become very powerful and very rich, you could say. But also on a level of the non-material, which is your confidence, which is the feeling that you have about yourself, that you're saying, I'm lowering this, I'm not lowering my standards anymore. I'm not going to do that work anymore because they're, the policy, I don't want to be there. So that demands courage and that demands transformation. And that is this Pluto in the second house. So it's not always money. It's sometimes bigger things than that. And it has to do with you are getting an upgrade, for sure. Neptune is still in your third house for most of, not for most of, for all of you, but for the whole year, just like last year. So with Neptune in the third house, Neptune in Pisces sextiles your sign. So it means that it's not going to do their things that are going to be too much, unsettling, right? Except, if you would have other planets that square up to this Neptune, or that's another story. But normally, generally, this Piscean energy is rather positive. So that means more empathy in your speech. The third house is how you speak, how you talk, how you communicate to others. So, with Neptune there, it's gentler, it's more empathic, it's more healing, it's more creative, the way that you think, or using media, social media that are very creative. Could be that as well. So that stays there. Now, Jupiter and Uranus are in your fifth house, and for the first 5 months of the year, Jupiter is also in your fifth house in Taurus. That's amazing. That's amazing because it's a fellow Earth sign. And although, Uranus is an unsettling planet, it trines your energy. So it shows that, and especially in the fifth house of self-creation, love, children, all these things are favored here to do novelty, to do new things. So you could be, like, for instance, Jupiter, Uranus, and specifically in March, April, they're going to conjoin with each other. So there could be something coming up that is very close to your heart, and that is possible. That is the fifth house, again, a child, a project, a business, a new business that you're starting, a hobby, something that you love to do, love, romance, Jupiter, Uranus in the fifth house. Although it is very Uranus-like, right? Which is like, oh, it's unsettling, it's new, it's not going to be unsettling. It's going to be fresh without the unsettled energy, which is amazing. If you are, for instance, for a long time single, you could meet now very Uranian, which means different than you, which also means like a difference in culture, the combination Jupiter, Uranus, different in culture, maybe an age gap, maybe, out of the ordinary. You're going to attract these people more into your life. On another level, it's about your self-expression. It's how you express yourself, how you have fun, and you're going to do things that you've never done before. And that's really nice as well. Then Saturn in your third house is again in that Piscean kind of house. But The ones who have Capricorn planets between 25 and 29 degrees of Capricorn are going to feel the Neptune very much. You know, the gentleness in your connections, day-to-day life, like siblings and neighbors and your communication, it's softening in a way. But the ones who have planets between 3 and 19 degrees of Capricorn are going to feel more the Saturnal energy, which again, it's in a sextile, so it's not really harmful there. On the contrary, it's helping you. And it's, in this case with Saturn, it's giving you structure and support in that third house of communication. So it's more serious communication, more deep communication and deep thinking. So you could be learning a skill that is very hard to learn, for instance, you know, especially if you have planets in Capricorn between 3 to 19 degrees, you could have a lot of, it's hard, it's a hard study, but you're consistent and consistency is going to help you. And also it kind of goes well with your Capricornian energy. The way that you speak can be also very positive as well. So that's it for most of this year, and all in all, it's a vibrating year for you, and I invite you to enjoy it for sure. Thank you so much for listening, and all the best to you. Bye.